Guys, okay. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes for people to join. Allow me like a 1 minute alone. All right. So first of all, anyone, any question, any doubt from any session? Raise hand if anyone have any question, any doubt from any session. Yes, Purva, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So Akash, I have query like in the last session we have export from one component header and from one component footer. Is
Mhm.
that valid scenario? Like in the one component we need to export maybe two particular thing. Is that something possible?
One component can export as many components as you want.
Okay. And what is the way for that?
Just as the way I import that, I import header and footer, both the thing in the same app, same way.
Mm-hmm.
Something in a header, import
Mm-hmm.
that in a header, same way.
No. I'm asking like in the component we are exporting that particular
I
component
mean,
in
one
the
component
component itself.
export only one, not a component. Say one file, Purva. The
Yeah,
right,
yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
right sentence is from
Mm-hmm.
one file we export one component. Yes, that should be one only. Only one
Okay,
export default, not multiple
okay,
export.
okay. Thank you.
Ritesh.
Yes, hi. My question is from first session. Like in command prompt when we write cd, right, change directory. So
Yeah.
that is like for me it is not working when I'm trying to create it in disk D. In disk C it's working. So is there
That's
any
a system issue,
restrictions?
sir. Nothing can
Sorry.
be done on that case, sir. That's a system issue. Means you might not have permission for disk drive D, your own personal laptop, right?
Yes.
So this is something that you have to check that why you don't have permission over drive D.
Okay.
There's nothing to do with
Okay.
the React. There's nothing to do with the React or nothing to do with this content. It's all about that you don't have permission to that drive to access through command prompt. Just put that error in a Google and see that what exactly in the Windows setting you have done, any firewall, any lock you have put on the drive that not allowed to use from a command prompt. It can be anything, buddy.
Okay. Okay. So I'll try with that. Thank you.
Sandeep.
One thing I have to add a title in the index.js. How we can do?
Title means
Like we have a multiple page, so I have to give the title for every page, single page.
that is called as routing, home, about, contact. Are you talking about that?
No, okay. So it's the
Are you
next
talking
step.
about the menu, Sandeep?
No. I am talking about the title. So in the tab you can see like it's a home
For
or
a
something.
tab, for a tab, basically in the website, you will give a only one title you will give here. As
Okay.
example, if you open that Flipkart also, in a single page application, we'll give a one title on the top for all the
Okay.
pages. Because here the route will keep changing. If I just bring it here, now see, it's a Flipkart. If I click on mobile,
Yes.
you see the title remains same.
Yes.
So basically, you can do that, but ultimately for that you require a more thing that's called require JS. That's little beyond of the scope of the React. That's also possible, but you have to learn one thing called require JS for that, Sandeep.
Require JS. Okay.
And guys, I saw one feedback of one person. I don't know, take a name right now. Okay. So if that person want to talk to me and want to discuss with me, I'll not take a name because I just want to see that how confident you are and how much confidence that you have to point out the thing. You are most welcome, buddy, to discuss with me if you have any concern. If you want me to One minute, let me please open that feedback sheet. I'll not take a name, don't worry. But yes, if you have a concern, you are most welcome to directly talk to me, because I'll tell you why, guys. See, I understand. These are 10 days session, 10 or 12 session, right? If you think like I put the feedback now, see what's gonna happen. Buddy, the nothing gonna happen in terms of that. The thing that's gonna happen is I will get your name. I have to ask you by taking your name that, okay, what exactly you're not liking. You have to talk to me. At the end of the day, the circle is going back to me only. Correct. And suppose I'm not taking your name and I'm not asking from you that what issue you are facing, then what the problem in that case? The problem is that is, buddy, you are not able to understand that concept, and you're not understanding a concept. Who will win a loss? You. Because course will over, guys. I'll say everyone. You're most welcome to fill the feedback. But either if you want to discuss with me, I don't want to take a name, yeah, it look bad. Okay. So I don't want to take a name, but yes, if you want to discuss with me, you are most welcome to discuss with me at the last of the class. This is a problem I'm facing. This is what actually I'm not liking. Can you do that? Can you do this? So that make more sense, because by that way, the thing that is better for me is at least I can help you out. At least I can answer a question, and at least I can make you understand about that. Okay. So again, I'm recommending everyone, if you have something, you are most welcome to discuss with me at the end of the class also. And the feedback was something like I'm talking something extra, buddy. That is the way other teacher work. If I just talk about the class only, it become very boring. Okay. So we have to talk something extra also sometime just to discuss that. But I don't want to take a name. But if you want to discuss, you're most welcome. Raise hand and you can discuss. If not, then up to you. Okay. Next one is Jodi.
Yes, I had a question about the in model 2, the code applications, the code, I can't get them to run. So there's no instructions on what you're supposed to do with the code when you download it.
Okay, there's the instruction I'll tell you. So if you open that, the step that how to run the application. Okay, if you see the video also, I explained there as well. But the step to run the application. You see step to install the application. After that, the step to run the application is go inside the folder, run the command. You see the instruction, Jodi, sorry.
Yes, I see the instruction, but I'm talking about the example codes that you download. When I run that, it doesn't run.
So what you have done, see, I've given the instructions here that go inside the folder using CMD. If you download this code of first app, go inside the code using the folder CMD. And one more step you can do is npmi. Although I have written this step above only, but that's fine. npmi and npm start.
Okay.
What else?
Right, so I'll try that.
I've written there already, ma'am. It's already there from the last 6 days back only. I've given this instruction. Let's try. And if not working, then ask me.
Let's see.
Yeah, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Still, guys, anybody have anything to discuss? Okay, that person want to come up. Absolutely fine. I'll also not take care of anybody. Fine. But I still say, if you have something, guys, you're most welcome to discuss with me. I can stay with you. You can discuss the feedback if you have any. That help me to improve myself also. Okay. Cool. So let's go ahead to the next thing, guys. So basically, I'll go ahead and start the application first of all. Now, when we start the application here, so now, first I have to, again, guys, I'm showing how to run that. Open the command prompt or a terminal, depending upon what exactly you are using. Go inside the folder cd desktop API. Mine is January, edu react evening, and first app. So I came in this particular folder and run the particular command npm start. When I do this particular command, I'll just stop one React app already running for me. I'll just stop that. 1 second. Okay. So at npm start, when at npm start, basically what happens is this particular code will start running for us. This code will compile over a node server, and you have the here in terms of your port number 3000, over which the application that we have created will start running. So this is, guys, the last time we have it. Now we are proceeding further to start learning how to add the CSS to our website. Then we're gonna talk about the two important factor, guys, basically called as state and props. Okay, two important factor which is called as state and props, and I'll also discuss about these three kind of component, what they are. First of all, guys, let me talk about a component here for a minute. Then we'll talk about next thing. Hooks we'll talk about later on. Anyways, that's a part. We're going to talk about hooks also. When we talk about functional component, we call them as a dumb component. But functional components are basically referred as the dumb component. And the class components are basically called as the logical component. Okay. In a functional component, mainly used for display purpose, and the class component used for logics, as well as display. Apart from that, yes, functional components cannot maintain state. What is that state means? Don't worry, guys, I'll explain you that. In a class component, we can maintain state. So in the functional component, we cannot maintain the state. In a class component, we can maintain the state. What is state and props? I'll discuss about that. But first of all, I like to talk about just to give you how the class component look like and how basically any functional component will look like. So here, guys, if we see our component right now, they all are the functional component. Why we call them a functional component? If you notice, the structure in which we write, they are a function. You see, functions. And the best thing, guys, I was talking about, you run normal function or arrow function, both are fine. But one more improvement which we can do before coming to class components, guys, right now what happens? Everything we're writing in the index file. Okay. But according to recommendation, it is not recommended to write all the thing inside the index file. Then what we should do? We try to keep the index file smaller. And the reason for that is, guys, because it is the, you can say, entry point to application, first file that runs. So we can make it little lighter by making it small. How? I'm going to make a backup file of this one, index_bk. This is a backup file. What is the use of this backup file? Nothing, guys. It's not going to run. It's not going to execute. I have just given this file for the purpose of your learning. If you want to revise tomorrow, that how we have proceed further, how it was looking earlier, I make this backup file. Guys, this file have no use. This file is not going to run. It is just and just for a reference. I kept it. So don't get confused. That's why I write _bk backup. Now what we'll do is, guys, basically I'll make one more component, say app.js. Any name you can give, app, home, anything you want, you can give here. I'll paste all the thing inside the app. Okay. Now, in the index file, we just require the app. Import app from /app.js. In the index, I just require the app, and we'll remove all the thing. We'll remove all this commented code. Now, these are the 6 line of a code that we have indexed. Going further, when we add a routing, the little length will increase, but it will remain like this. Routing or the length will remain same. For React without Redux, the length of the index file is of only 6 lines. These are the 6 lines. And in app.js, what I'll do, we don't need this React DOM because obviously you cannot render from here. From here, you will say export default app. From here, we export the app. We require the app in the index. And now if you go back, it's running exactly same. But the major thing is our file is getting more clean. And one more thing we'll do, we'll make a one folder called container or component, I can say. Container or component is the right name to use. Except the index, all other thing I'll move inside the component. All the thing I'll move inside the component, and here also we set component slash app. Guys, how it automatically return? This is a work of VS Code. VS Code is intelligent and it automatically change the path. So index file will be directly in the SRC, and rest all thing are part of a component, our application running exactly fine now as well. Anyone, any question this structure? Then I'm coming to write a class component also. Anyone, any question and doubt at this point? Guys, if you notice, I always keep asking you any question and doubt, any question and doubt. If you don't ask me, how I know that you have a doubt? So I don't know, you have to ask first. Yes, Purva.
Yeah. So Akash, I was talking about this only, like header.js file. This is one component, right? So
Correct.
inside this, you export header. So my question was, in this, if I want to return
One
export.
file, one export statement. I already answered that time also.
Okay. Okay, I was like, because you said that component is not the right word, so that's
Yes,
the reason.
component should write what is one file. You cannot call,
Okay.
how you can call a for you it's a component, but ideally it's a one file.
Okay.
One file, one export you do. Because the default, the only thing that exporting from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Yes,
So
Neha.
my question is about, I mean, I was always confused for this absolute and relative path. I mean, I do sometime the path we are
These are the
referring
relative
is.
path only. Nobody give a relative path these days. Absolute always. You give a proper path to the file.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are gone where we can absolute relative paths. Relative paths are used when you refer in from a laptop. These files are all live. We have to make it live. So we can give relative paths also.
So it's like, for example, if you have a nested folders, like folder inside folder, so this dot will become double dot or something.
Obviously, double dot. If a two folder inside, double dot. Three folder inside, double dot slash double dot like this.
Okay.
Yes, Jyoti.
Okay, so for each component, you have to import React Act.
Yes.
React for each component.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, guys, next step. Basically, here in the header, I'll make this component a class component. How to make a class component? To make this as a class component, first of all, you have to import one method inside the React called component. You have to import one method inside the React called as component. Okay. The syntax will also be a little different. So first of all, I'll just we'll make a backup of this file as well. Just for reference, I'll keep it below so we can refer it how it look. Okay. So here, guys, first of all, you have to import component. Why we are importing in a curly bracket? I'll tell you that also. First of all, you write like this way: class header extends component. Okay. Then you write render, and basically render is a one that will return. Why render required? Guys, classes are not capable of directly returning anything. From a class, you cannot return. Class need a method to return, and that method name is render. From where this method came, it's coming from this extended class called component. Either you can write like this, guys, react.component. No need to import then. That's also fine because it's a class inside the React library. So react.component, or you can say interface also. It's basically that react.component. That's a one way, or either import in curly bracket and just write component. So anything that's a class or an interface should come in the curly bracket, or either write react.component like that. And here in the terms of this render is coming from this so component only, the extended class that a component. Now this gives the multiple more methods. We'll talk about that, but first method is render. And now we see the output remains same. Guys, output does not change. The output remain exactly same now as well. But the only thing is here is in terms of that you are writing. So what's the difference? Why we should use it? We'll talk about that. But this is a structure of a class component, and this is a structure of the functional component. Okay. As of now, they both are same for us, but how we differentiate, where to use what, I'll talk about that. Okay. One more thing I like to talk about here in terms of how we can start adding the CSS to the page. There's 3 ways to add a CSS. So what the plan is? The plan here is in terms of we are going to make one search bar. We'll show the products here, and when you type something there, you're able to search those products. That's the requirement. So what I'm going to do here is here, first of all, before that, even coming with one more thing I like to show you guys here. If you right click and inspect, okay, right click and inspect, notice one thing, guys, we have one div whose ID is root. That's perfect. After that, guys, we have one more div. Inside that, we have one more div. So many divs are there. Why we require a div? Guys, you require a div basically for the purpose of wrapper. You need something to wrap. So you wrap them in a div. Is there any option available to us? The 3 option React will give you. One is called empty bracket, just like this way. You just put here empty brackets. That's fine. Now, if you go back, you will notice one div is gone. But the point is like that, guys. Suppose I want to give any class or any style, any CSS, I cannot do that. I cannot give any property to this particular empty. Just you want just as a wrapper. See, suppose I have a wrapper. Inside the wrapper, I put a div. Doesn't make any sense. Suppose I have one wrapper as a div also. Now, this doesn't make any sense. No need of this wrapper outside. But if you think you just want it to wrap, you don't want to give any property, nothing you want to provide, then don't need to wrap it. Just wrap in the empty bracket. No more div there. One div gone. Okay. Other option available is called React.fragment. React dot, it's again in the method inside the React.fragment. Now when you write it, one more div gone. It's just a wrapper. Nothing will do, guys. It will not do anything, any functionality. Just for wrapper. Rather than a div, I can use this. Now it's not visible in the HTML. That's the main thing. Or the third option is you import the fragment here like this way and use here fragment. Import the fragment and just write fragment, either React.fragment or import it and reduce it. Now, guys, no extra div. Guys, give me 1 minute. Hold on. Just for 1 minute. Hold on. Okay. So basically, guys, use the empty bracket, you use the fragment or React fragment. All 3 options are valid. Yes, Jody, go ahead.
Yes, so with the component, so the class, you have to use the component keyword, but you don't when you're using a functional form.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other question, guys? Anyone? Yes, Sandeep.
In the fragment, we can give the class.
No, you cannot do that.
Okay.
So
So
let's
it's like a same thing for curly
your voice is breaking, Sandeep.
bracket.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
So it's a first you have told. So it's like a first step. Like if we use rect fragment and the curly bracket
Yeah,
without fragment.
anyone is fine, sir. Anyone is fine.
Okay, so there is no difference, right?
Sir, when I say anyone is fine, sir, then it's obvious,
Okay,
right?
okay, okay, okay.
Guys are smart enough. I don't have to go for each word to answer. I think we are smart enough. Yes, Rajan.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just one basic question. Actually, all these files are part of the same package. Okay, I'm just comparing with the Java. Then why do we need to do
Do
the
not
export
compare that with the
command?
Java. No connection. There is no
Okay,
comparison with Java and the React
okay,
connection, sir. Not
okay,
anywhere near to that.
o- okay. It's a part of the same project. Then what is that export actually doing behind the
Because
scene?
we're exporting the file. Okay. Can you catch the ball if I don't throw the ball?
No,
Then, sir, if
yeah,
you don't export it, then how I can import it?
okay,
It's very obvious, na?
okay,
We're not exporting it, then
okay,
how I can import it? That's what.
okay, okay. I thought it is part of the same, the project, same application. Okay, same package. So the importing through the import, it will refer to the relative path.
No, sir. It
Okay,
won't
so
do that.
okay, no problem. Yeah, okay. If this is what the language does, then okay, yeah, I understand. Thanks.
So basically, guys, what I did is I make one header. In the header, I'll make a one div. There, basically, I have a title, say your React app. Then I have an input box. Under that, I have one more div. In that div, basically, I have a user input here. So how it look, first of all, let's see. On the top, we have the heading and one input box and this one. First of all, I want to make it look good. Okay. There are multiple ways, guys, to give the CSS. One is called as the inline CSS. One is called as a style object. And one is called a style sheet. If I have to give an inline CSS, I can write like this way. First of all, style equal to double curly bracket. And guys, I'll tell you one thing. This is an expectation from you only. Don't worry. Don't need to think about I'm a React developer. Why should I learn the CSS? I'm telling you, if you're learning a React, is an expectation from you only in the company that you are the one who will write the HTML also. You are the one who will do the designing also. Is 90% chance you are the one who are designing the pages as well as converting into React. 90% will not find anyone who will write the HTML for you using the HTML. If you're privileged in a company, you might be, but just be prepared that it's your bucket that you will write the CSS and HTML both. So here in the style, I'll give a color. I'll say color, suppose here, first of all, in the React, how we write it? First, double curly bracket, property name, and the value, I'll say red. Now if we go back, the text coming in a red color. Then I want to give other property. Now we'll say font hyphen size. Okay. If I had font hyphen size, it will not work here. First of all, I'll say font hyphen size 20 pixel. It will not work here. You no need to have a hyphen here, guys. First, remove the hyphen. Then second word, first letter should be capital. Second word, first letter should be capital. Now, if you check, it's like this. So basically, here hyphen does not work. If you want it, then second word, first letter capital. This is the inline CSS. That's a one way. Second way is to create the style object. How? I'll say const, any name I can give. I'll say my style. Okay. Here I'll give a property called header. To the header, I want to give a background color. So background hyphen color will become background color like this. And I'll give the color of that as tomato. I'll add second property, say logo. in that I said text align. So text hyphen align become text align. Second, font hyphen size become font size. And the text color, I will say white. And I see the color of this also to white. Okay. How are we going to apply this, guys? To header. You write like this way. Style equal to my style dot header. My style dot header. Have a look. It's coming. Then to the logo, I'll say style equal to my style dot logo. Now logo is also coming. Now I'll get rid of this HR tag, guys. I don't want this HR tag. Second, you see some space is there. How we can remove it? So I want some common CSS to apply over whole my website. So here in the index, I can make a common dot CSS. In this, I'll say body margin auto. Body margin auto. And guys, this CSS I will require here. I'll say link href common.css rel related to style sheet, type is text/css. Now no more gap. Any CSS, guys, I want to apply over the whole page, write it here. A specific CSS, write. Now this is we are writing inside the component, but we can write it separately also. How we can write separately, I'll come into that point. But first of all, anyone not clear with this two type of CSS? One, you can write inline. Second, you can make an object and refer that. Any question? Okay. Now how we can separate CSS, guys? First, again, I'll make a backup of this file also. Guys, why I'm making this backups? Although I can delete and write also, I'm just making a backup so that when you guys revise, you can easily refer those things. Backup files are not of any use, only for your reference I'm keeping it. Normally, guys, we try to use the external CSS only. So I'll make one CSS file, say header.css. Does a file name should be same? No, not compulsory. Any file name is fine, guys. Okay. And one CSS can use a multiple components also, depending on how you have designed your application. Here, guys, how to import, you have to import the CSS like this. Import dot slash header dot CSS. So guys, same import I can do in any component. Okay. Then I'll take out this CSS from here and put in the separate CSS file first. No need of this. No need of this. Clean component plus no need to have this. Okay. Fine. But when you run it, it will not run. Why? The CSS we are writing the CSS file is not the right structure. Because structure of CSS in a CSS file is different. First of all, no columns. Background will be background hyphen color. The property will not come in single quote. I'll give a change the color of that to teal. Text hyphen align. Each property separated by semicolon. This is a style of the CSS. Now it's a correct CSS style. If you go back, it's working. So header property applied, but not the logo. Guys, ping me in chat and tell me why logo didn't get applied. Ping me in chat. Why logo didn't got applied? I got only one answer. Hardly 1 or 2 answer, guys. Guys, it indicate you guys have to do a little more work on the HTML side also, guys, for React. There are three ways to target any element: tag name, class name, ID. Tag name, class name, ID. Header is a tag name. It's able to target that, but logo is not the tag. Some people are correct also. Logo is not the tag name. Either make it as an ID, right? It's a hash, or either make it as a class, say dot. If you don't know about ID and class, I request you to go back and study a little bit CSS, guys. So classes are represented by dot in the CSS. And here you have to write like this way: class logo. When you write, it works. But if I right click and inspect and check the console, it is showing a warning that did you mean class name? Because in the React, class is a reserved keyword. They say if you're using a CSS, rather it will work. It's absolutely working fine, but the warning, just to remove that, just make this class to class name. Make this class to class name. Now, if you notice, it's no longer there. No more warning, and the CSS got applied. So these are the best ways to use the external CSS, but I have showed you all three ways. Whichever you're comfortable, you can go ahead with that. Anyone, any question in this CSS? Yes, Neha, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like we can create a kind of external CSS and we can use that CSS across the different components, right? So my question is like, what else if you have header styles for the different components is a different like.
Ma'am, before explain this thing, I have mentioned one more line. I think you missed that. I said that it depends upon your design. You have to see the CSS you are using in two components are compatible for both or one. Right? So it depends upon how you have written the CSS. There's no magic gonna happen here. If you think like I have a only CSS in the header, I have only a header CSS, not a footer CSS, but I'm importing here. Will it apply? Obviously, it will not apply. I want a footer, I have a CSS classes or footer also, and then I can use it here also. Does it make sense?
No, still I'm not clear. Just hold for a second. Let me, I mean, explain my question properly. What I'm saying here is, you have two CSS, and for example, you have class logo, two classes is there, right? You've written two classes in two different CSS. Now you're importing both CSS for any reason. It's not about design and all. You're importing for any reason. So that there's a chance, right? This will get overwrite.
Ma'am, let me cut you here a little bit to save a time. Ma'am, it's just simple. The order in which you import the CSS that matter. It's a basic of a HTML CSS, ma'am. Nothing to do with the React. It's a basic HTML CSS. If you have two different CSS we're importing, and ultimately they both have a class name, in which order you will import that matter. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Jody.
Okay, so on the other file, you have mixed the class and inline style. Can you do that, or will it cause issues?
You can have all three things together also. Is a priority differ. Inline is a higher priority than a style tag, than a style sheet. So the priority differ. If you have a same class in both of them, then the priority matter. Inline get a more priority as compared to the external.
Okay.
And you want to understand more, again, I'm repeating. That's why I said last week also, the prerequisite for this React, that is HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript. That's why I said yesterday also, last time also, guys, that this is the basic prerequisite, because not to get confused, if you just read this thing once now, you will be more clear about CSS fundas and the HTML fundas. Okay, that will help you out a lot. Just try, guys, take out some time and try that. If something is not clear, you can ask me, but try to brush up your HTML CSS skills. That will help you out a lot in React. As I already mentioned to you, it is your responsibility to design the web page, as simple as that. It is purely your responsibility to design the web page. Nobody is going to design the web page for you as a React developer. Okay. Fine. Now, guys, I'm coming to next concept. It's an important concept. And that's how you can differentiate between the class and functions also. Now, by this concept, you can even differentiate between the class and the functions also. I think who was asking? I want to move it down so that you have some space. We'll not get confused between them. Okay. I like to talk about one concept that's called state and props. Again, guys, quite important concept. What is state? And a whole React depend upon this, guys. A lot of React structure, a lot of React is dependent on this only. What is state? Basically, guys, state act like a local variable. State act like a local variable. Props help to transfer the data. State act like a local variable and props help to transfer the data. Okay. Now we can update the value of state. Cannot update the value of props. In a transfer data, I'll say between two nested component. What do nested component? I'll explain you guys. Nested component. Don't worry, guys. Whatever thing I write now, I try my best to explain that word as well. Single word I want to explain also. So state act like a local variable. We can update the value of a state. Prop help to transfer data between two nested component. What is nested component? I'll explain you. And we cannot update the value of props. Third, any data interaction will happen through state. Any data interaction will happen through state. And one more point about state. Whenever state update, component will re-render. What a re-render? I'll explain that also. Whenever the state update, component will re-render. Now, let me explain you these all the thing one by one. First of all, guys, what do you mean by nested component? Okay. Here, guys, in this particular component, notice one thing. Here, the component name is app. In this app component, you have imported header and footer. In the app component, you have imported header and footer. Now, what happened in this scenario? Here, the app act like a parent. Okay. App act like a parent. App act like a parent and header footer act like a child. App act like a parent and header footer act like a child. Why? Because header and footer got imported inside the app. So app become the parent, header footer become the child. Guys, is it like that header footer is always a child? No. Suppose, guys, inside the header, I'll import any other component, then the header become the parent of that component. So it's not like that if someone is parent and always gonna be parent. It depends upon how you write. Right now, I have written here also, guys. Header and footer is a part of the app. That is why header footer is a child of the app. Tomorrow inside that, if in the header, suppose I import ABC, just to show example. And I write here ABC just for the sake of example. Then in this scenario, guys, this ABC will act like a child and the header act like a parent. So there's nothing like that, guys. If someone is child, is always going to be child, nothing like that. Depending upon how you structure, they become the parent or the child. Now, data can be transferred between both the direction. I can pass the data from the parent to child and from child back to parent. Parent to child, child to parent. I explain you both of them. Don't worry. And basically how that work. Okay, let me explain you. Suppose guys, I read one IMG tag, which have one SRC. I have a tag, which have HREF. Okay. IMG tag, which have SRC, A tag, which have HREF. Now, basically what happened in this case? Guys, SRC and the HREF is a property or the attribute of the particular tag. Like SRC is the property or the attribute of IMG. HREF is the attribute or a property of the A tag. It's a predefined properties. Correct? In the footer, I write year and I'll say 2023. In the footer, I write year as a 2023. Now, guys, the year become the property of the footer. See, SRC is a property of the IMG tag. HREF is a property of the A tag. Similarly, year become the property of footer tag. These are predefined. This is what I have defined. Now, to this property, I assign the value 2023. So what I'm doing, I'm passing the data from the app to the footer. From the app to the footer, what value? I'm passing this value. Now, how footer will receive this value? Go back to footer. Footer will receive the props. Props is not any keyword. You can remember one thing in life, guys. Any language in a life you're going to learn. Parameter to the functions are never a keyword. Parameters to the functions are never a keyword in any language in life. Just remember the basic funda. Here, guys, I'm going to just write console.log. I say in footer, I'll just print props. What we receive in the props. Okay, have a look. Basically, guys, if I go here and just here, I do inspect and check the console. You will find, guys, you will receive inside footer one object which have a property called year. Here receive one object which have property called year. How are you going to use it? I'll tell you. Can you pass more than one property? Yes, you can do that. I read on other properties, say month as January. Okay. Now, if I go back, you will receive two properties, year and month. Can you pass the array? Can you pass the object? Yes, you can do that. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to pass array and object also there. Once you're passing from here, how we can receive it? I'm receiving it. Now there come the next concept called data binding. How we bind the data, guys? We put the curly bracket and write props dot year. And I'll say props dot month. And now if you go, you will see 2020 January, or you can oppose it January 2023. So this is how we can pass the data from parent to how to pass from child to parent. I'll explain you, but this is how we pass the data from parent to child. How? With the help of a property. Property is used to pass the data from one component to other component, but component should be nested. Now go ahead without. Yes, Shrilata. Go ahead, please.
You have mentioned, like, we can pass the data only through nested when it is head parent child relationship, right, Akash?
Yes.
So when we have two different types, like, how do we pass data between header and footer, for example?
For example, here it's easy, na? From header can pass to app and app can pass to footer. But if the two non-nested, then use the sessions. I'll explain that in further class.
Okay. This way it is not possible. Through props, it is not possible, is it?
The non-nested component, then not.
Okay. Fine then. Yeah. That.
So with.
Hi Akash. So we have passed the two parameter like through two property, like one is year and one is month, and one in the like header component we received as a object. So how props is converting into object?
So this is how the React is. That's how it passed, buddy. So with I told you last time also, few things. Sir, few things are taken care by compiler. Right? You asked me last time some this kind of a question. I answer one thing to you.
Yes.
Sir, few things that don't have an answer. You understand a point?
Okay.
Sir, few questions don't have an answer. The reason for that is I told you last, sir, if a very simple question to you always I ask, I'll say where A equal to 10 and where B is equal to 20, A plus B is 30. Now tell me why it is not 40, sir.
All right. So we can say props is
So wait. Why it is not 40? Who told that it will 10 plus 20 will be 30? How code know is 10 plus 20 is 30? Sir, it's a compiler. Compiler who compile the code. That's, sir, if that things are very simple, then you never need this compiler. What's the browser? What is your browser? Browser is a compiler. How it know that for H1 tag show this, for H3 tag show this? How they know? Because the browser which is there is a compiler. Browser understand the language. In a similar way, for few things we don't have direct answers, because ultimately when we receive this object, when you pass a property, they will be received as object, and there's a no.
Okay. So we can say in this way like props is an object.
No, sir, you cannot say prop is an object. Prop is a property only. It's a way to pass the data. You're receiving this. I cannot say ABC. You'll receive the values ABC. You'll receive it through ABC also. Prop is not
So
an object.
it will always be an object, right?
You will receive the value as an object. It's not an object.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Any more questions, guys? And guys, not for so with anyone in our life. We don't have answer for such questions. Like why 10 plus 20 is 30 only, why not 40? Because this is a compiler, how it compile. And that's what the whoever written the React, these logics are written by them. If you're really interested, then I have answer for that. There's a library called React. You can open this node module. You will find the library called React here, and is a whole compilation code is written inside that. What means what? Why import only? Why not XYZ here? So everything is written inside here library called React, and there's so many more dependent libraries. Then you have to go inside it and read about it. It's a React, and a lot of compiled code which you want. If you're interested, you're most welcome to read all of this. Okay, that's the answer. Fine. So, okay, any more questions at this point in the properties? Okay, we'll come to next thing called state. Now, what is state? State act like a local variable. And remember, guys, I have written one more thing here. We can maintain the state in a class component. In a functional components, you cannot maintain the state. Okay, how we can update the value of state? I'm going to show you that also step by step. Here, guys, first of all, I'm going to the header. To define the state, we write one thing called constructor. What is constructor? There's a constructor is again just like a render is a one method. Constructor is again one method. But constructor is a predefined method. So inside the class, again, in any language, Java, Python, Ruby, .NET, Erlang, any language you learn, inside the class, we have one thing called constructors. And what a constructor do? All the declarations that you want to do, you will do inside the constructor, because constructor is the first thing that get called inside the class. So constructor is the first thing that get guys called inside the class. Okay. So basically you can say one thing, any declaration that you want to do, you will do inside the constructor. So any variable you want to declare, you do inside the constructor. And on the other side, state is just act like a variable. State will just act like a variable here, guys, local variable. How we define a state? You ask a question, then why don't you directly write a variable? Guys, state is something that can be managed by React. But a simple variable, first of all, can we declare a variable inside the class? I write a is equal to 10. Is it the right thing to do? It's not the right thing to do. First of all, one more important thing. If I write here let a is equal to 20. This is not allowed inside the class, first of all. If I just write a equal to 20, it's a unreachable code. We don't declare the variables like this normally inside the classes. So there we have to use one thing called as state. Inside the constructor, okay, first of all, suppose at a constructor like this. Now what happened? My application stopped. Why it stopped? Let's go to console. Guys, in the class, suppose I run method say here greet as an example, or I say any method say test inside the class. To access this method, I cannot. So first of all, it's a unreachable code again. First thing. Second thing, if I want to use this method, I have to call like this way. If I just call suppose test, it will not work. I have to write like this way, this dot test. When we write this dot test, now it's not able to still access that. So this is the keyword that required to access any value inside the class. If you want to access the method inside the class, you need a keyword called this. But now this is not working right now. Why? Let's read this statement. It's a must call super constructor in the derived class before accessing this. It says super is required if the class is extended or class is derived or inherited. You need to have one keyword call here, super. Without super keyword, your constructor things will not work. Now, if I write here again test. First of all, it's no longer the unreachable code. And when I write this dot, see, now with this, it's accessible also. So super is a keyword that is anyways required if using constructor. Without that, it will not work. And I show the reason for that, because with the help of this keyword, you can access the values. And this is only accessible when you have super inside the constructor. And to define the state, we write like this way, this dot state. In this, I write one state variable named title, whose value is React app. My state variable value is React app. So I define one variable called React title inside the state. And how we access it? Put the curly bracket and write this dot state dot title. Venkat, just wait for some time, buddy. This dot state dot title. Now, if you check, you're able to access it. Plus, I can define multiple variables here. I can assign the array also, object also to this variable. Now, I'll define one variable called keyword. Any variable name I can say keyword, whose value is user input here, or say just to differentiate user text here. I'll come to know it's coming or not coming. So I'll put a curly bracket and write this dot state dot keyword. Now if you check, you will see there. So the point here, it's in a terms of I am able to define the state and able to access this state variables. So this is how you define, and this is how you access the state variables. And I can have multiple state variables, how to update it. I'll come to that point. But first of all, till this point, your questions. Yes, Venkat.
Hi, Akash. Akash, earlier passing the props from a class to the functional component, right? Can you pass the props to a class component?
You can do it. Simply pass it. You will receive a pass ending on header. Console.log this dot props. You write a console.log this dot props. You'll be able to access it.
But where do you use props in this class component?
Where to declare a props?
Yes.
You don't declare, it will work. But you want to declare, you can declare here. You don't declare, that's still fine. Okay. But you have to access using this keyword, this dot props.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys? Anyone? Okay. Now I am coming to the one more concept before a break. How we can update these states. My requirement is that, guys, whenever I will type something here, I want to print it below. Whatever I type input box, I want it below. How we can do that? Okay. In the input box, we write one method called on change event. Basically call it. It's a JavaScript event: on change, on blur, on input, on key press, on mouse over. There's so many events are available in JavaScript. So one event is called on change. In input, I'll call on change. Through on change, I'll call a method that this dot handle change. In on change, we call a method called this dot handle change. Any name you can give to this method. Now I define this method here. This method will receive one parameter called event. Again, this is not any keyword. And I simply write console.log event. And guys, I'll tell you one thing. Obviously, day by day, complexity of the code will increase. Okay. I'll tell you guys, sometimes you start feeling I'm not understanding it. Whatever not clear, ask. If still not clear, you don't want to ask, then leave that topic. Try to understand the next topic. I'll tell you very simple, guys, that when we were a child, right? How we have learned, if I ask you what come after, right now, if I ask you what come after D, you will say A, B, C, D, E. Very simple. It's very simple to answer you. But when you are a first class, second class, or a junior KG, so ultimately at that time we don't know A, B, C, D. For us, it's very difficult to learn A, B, C, D also. Now we learn A, B, C, D like this. How? Because we have done a lot of practice. We have actually learned it so many times. We have used it so many times. So we remember A, B, C, D, E, F, just like this. Same thing, guys. Every subject we start learning, it's look difficult initially because it's always new to us. But if you do a practice of it, if you try to learn it, if you try to practice it, ask a doubt, it start getting clear day by day. But if you still live in that dilemma, I'm not getting it, I need something else, it's never gonna possible. Every trainer has their own style of teaching, guys. And somebody teaching like this, somebody teach like that. But at the end of the day, it depends upon you to practice and learn. Same goes with me. When I'm learning something, it depends upon me. If I want to learn, I'll do that. If I want to just in a complaint mode, then always I keep complaining. So I say, yes, it looked a little difficult initially. No need to worry. Try, practice, ask. If not clear, you can always ask again. And guys, just forget to mention. So you will official confirmation also. Next week will be off on the occasion of that new year. So Edureka Institute is off. I am available, but Edureka Institute is off. So for any batch, whatever Edureka is running, if you're in any other batch also, there will be no batch next week, 31st and 1st. I think Saturday and Sunday only, right? 31st and 1st. Guys, both days are off for the new year. Okay, because the institute is off. No class on 31st and 1st. Okay. So now the point here is in terms of, and guys, if you think like, sir, how we lost the 2 classes? No, it's not like that, guys. Automatically in your LMS, 2 class will be expected or added automatically. 2 class after that. So if your course ending on a 3rd, now it's end on a 5th. It's just like that. Automatically, guys, 2 class will be added to LMS for every batch, whichever you are taking in Edureka. Okay. So here, guys, first of all, we're at handle change. Now in the handle change, I received the event. Now what is coming in an event? It's a JavaScript event. Okay, let's have a look. Suppose I start typing something and I say A. It receive one thing called synthetic base event. I write B. I write C. So this is called synthetic base event. Now, if you expand it, inside this is one thing called target. What's a target? From where this event got called? Input box. And an input, we have value. What is the value? What you're typing is coming here. So here, if we write now event dot target dot value, it's a by default in a JavaScript, guys. Okay, it's a basic JavaScript concept. Event dot target dot value. If I start typing something, you are receiving it in the console. You see, you're getting whatever I'm changing the value. Whenever I change the value, I'm able to receive that through event dot target dot value. Basically, event is in JavaScript. And how it's getting called? On change. On change, the event of Java, method of JavaScript through which you can call this your own method called handle change. And now, how are we going to set this in a state? To set that in a state, we'll say this dot set state is an inbuilt method called set state. That's why, guys, if I declare any variable, I'll not able to update that because there's no method for that to update any specific variable. With this dot set state, here I will pass. What I want to update, I want to update this keyword. So state name is keyword. With what you want to update? I want to update with event.target.value. This state I want to update with event.target.value. Now we go back and check. Suppose guys, start typing something. See, I can see it below. You see what? Ignore, forget about this console. When I start typing something, I can see it below. Now, is the value coming from here to here? No. Here, this is a other funda called re-rendering. Re-rendering. Okay, I'll show you. Here I write console.log. I'll say inside render. Inside render. Okay. Now, see guys, it's a very important thing. Please understand carefully. Now, when I go and start typing something here, have a look. When I type any word, guys, that word is coming and inside render get called. I type something else. Whatever I am typing, I can see that, and every time inside render print what it means. Guys, how the flow happened? The flow happened that whenever the state update happen, whenever the state update happen, the component will re-render. That's how when I type something here, suppose I type A here, this A will go in the state. Okay, now what is a new value of state? A. So A got printed. When I type here B, now this AB got updated in a state, and when it re-render, it printed AB here. With every state update, the component will re-render. That is the basic funda of React now. Some people start thinking in their mind that now this will slow down the application because so many re-rendering. No, guys, it will not slow down the application because this is the basic funda of React. And on this basis only React work. So this is handled in the compiler very efficiently that it's not going to slow down application because this is the funda on which React works. That is why without refreshing a page, without making any call, it's able to print that values because of the concept called re-rendering. It's not going to slow down the application. You can call it 10 times also, it's fine. Call 100 times also, it's also fine. So there's not going to be any problem in that case. That is how, guys, whenever I write something, I can see it here because the concept of re-rendering. Is this clear? Anyone, any question? Then I'll give you one small task also. Anyone, any question? Okay. So I have one thing now as a task. Guys, when I load my page, you see it's a user text here. When I start typing, I can see what I'm typing. But when I remove, guys, everything gone. Everything gone. My requirement is a very simple task, very simple. My requirement is that when I remove everything, it should bring back my default value. So when I load it, this one's a default value coming, user text here. When I type everything, that's everything gone. Now I have my own value. But when I remove it, I want that the default value should come back. Just as a hint, this code should be done in one single line. If you're able to do in one single line, share me that line tomorrow in the chat. If you think of more than one line, no need to, you're doing something wrong. This functionality can be achieved with the basic concept of JavaScript in one single line. Anyways, I'll show you that also how to do it, but I want to give you guys one chance to try. In a one single line, you have to achieve it. If you're able to do it in one single line, you are best. Means you are able to accomplish it. But if you're not able to achieve in one single line, then you're doing something wrong. Make sense? Yes, Rajan. Yes, Rajan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. So I see the code. In some places you use the single curly brace. Some places it's the
A single
whenever the inline.
backtick,
Yeah,
all are
double.
fine. I write where
Okay.
equal to double quote high
Okay.
or single quote high
Okay.
or a backtick. This one. All three are fine.
Okay. No, sorry, not the quote. Curly brace, single curly brace, double curly brace. So
Can you highlight the code?
wherever the inline styles are there, you use the
And that's a
double curly
syntax.
brace. Okay.
Except that nowhere is use a double curly bracket, buddy. Only for CSS we use double curly bracket.
Okay.
Only for inline CSS we use double curly bracket. Nowhere other than this the double curly bracket. Single
Okay.
curly.
In line number 17, okay, you use the double curly brace.
No.
Or is it? Oh, sorry, it's a single. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I got confused. Okay. Thank you. I got it.
Any more question, guys? Anyone? Okay. Now, guys, the requirement here is to print the data on the screen. Okay. For doing that, I'll make one more component, say display product display. My component name is product display.js. Okay. I'm gonna make this a functional component. Why a functional component? Because I just want to display. So how I'm gonna do is, guys, I will get the data in the app. From app, I will pass to the your product. Can't be directly call a product. You can do the directly product also, but I have to change a lot of concepts. So I'm doing like this. So I'll say display. As of now, I'll make this as a simple component. I'll walk you through the data. Then after that, we'll take a break. Get on H1 say product display and export default display. Now the file name is product display. The component name is display. Perfectly fine. No problem. Import this display, guys, inside the app. Now this display, I'll put it here. Now so this is a very simple thing. Although nothing is logic here. If you go back, you will see like this. Oh, the file name is /product display. Okay. Fine. Now, guys, anyways, I'm going to deal with the data here. Through this file, I will deal with the data that I'll pass to this display. If I'm going to deal with data, I have to make this as a class component, first of all, because any data interaction should happen through class. Okay. Here's a class. Say class app extends component, and then we write a render, and that render will return. Okay. So how are we going to deal with that? Here we can define a constructor also. That will have a super also. It's optional, guys. You want to write a props here, it's your choice. You don't want to write a props here, that's your choice. We write this dot state, and the state variable name is products. What will come here, I'll explain you in a minute. Means after break. So here, guys, we're going to get a data and one CSS also. So CSS is basically product display.css. 1 minute, guys. So here guys, I'll just make one file, say db.json. Okay. Second, I'll make product.css. This time guys, in a first application, I am going to get that data from the file. In the upcoming application, I will teach you how exactly to call the API. Remember guys, how to get data from the API, is that also a part of our course? But right now, first thing is how exactly we're going to deal with data. We're keeping this data in the file first of all. So let me get two things. One is the CSS. Second is my data. Here. We have an ID. We have a brand. We have a discount. We have form. We have a use. We have a name. We have image. We have description. We have cost. So this is the data of the medical products, guys. Okay. I have a whole data of the medical product. Our task is to display this data and make the filter, and when you type something in the search box, it able to filter my products. That's our task. So first of all, I'll get this data in this file. I get a CSS also. And guys, the CSS which I'm copying, right? If anybody have any question in the CSS also, you are most welcome to ask me. But obviously, guys, will not write a CSS in this course. I told you in the beginning only. CSS we are not writing in this course, but if anyone have any confusion of CSS which I'm giving to you, you are most welcome to ask. Okay. Fine. So now we're going for a break. After a break, we'll do next thing. But I think somebody is asking the use of if condition and the assignment will be considered a single line. Gagan, that you have to figure out, buddy. We'll not discuss right now. You have to figure out how to achieve that. Okay. Guys, anyone any question? Else you go for a break. No question? Cool. So let's go for a break, guys. I'm also going for dinner. And then after that, we'll connect. All right. So let's get started. So guys, before the break, we are able to get in the terms and so of basically we get a data, we bind the CSS also. So let's pick our next thing. Now we have to display this data on the screen, guys, first of all. Okay. So first step is we are going to pass the data from app to display. Now guys, first of all, we are going to pass the data from here, from app to your product display. Okay. From app, and guys, in the meanwhile, now I'll do one more thing while I'm teaching you this. I'll generate one more application also. If we have planned to do it today, we'll do it today. Tomorrow, then do it tomorrow. At least I generate it, save our time. Create React app routing 5, and I want one more, create React app routing 6. I'm just generating, guys, for a sake that if we need it today or might be tomorrow, so we have it there. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. So now I got the data, guys, here, which is right now in the part of the app. Now I'm gonna pass this data from the app to your display. How? First of all, guys, any data interaction that will happen through your state. When it happened through the state, so for that purpose, first of all, I have to import this data. How to import the data? Simply import like this. Say, import JSON from ./db.json. Simple import. Is a JSON a keyword? No, I can import by ABC also. That's fine. So I import by the name of JSON. So I'm importing this data in this file. As I mentioned, guys, how to call through the API from URL. We'll talk about that. And if somebody is asking how we can get data from database, guys, is not possible. React cannot talk to database. I cannot write a DB query like select star from in the students. It's not possible in React. React needs the API URL. Through API URL, we'll get a data. How to consume that? You're going to learn that in upcoming classes. So here, first of all, I'm going to import this JSON from this JSON, and I assign this JSON value to this state. So I assign this products data to this JSON to this product data state variable. Okay. Now I'm going to pass this data, guys. So how I'm going to pass the data? So I'll say prod data is equal to this dot state dot product data. So I'm passing this product data, guys, basically from your app to display. This time, guys, I'm passing the array of object, right? I'm not passing any single value like a state and all we did. Now I'm passing this as the complete property means I'm passing in terms of your state as an object. Okay. So you're passing a state of one component as a property to the next component. Now, basically, guys, in the next product data component, you're gonna receive it by the name of props. Now, how I'm going to display this data? So if I send a console.log props just to check it's coming or not coming, console.log props. Okay, just for a check for our understanding, it's coming or not coming. Let's have a look. As a refresh once again, just to have a clean console. So guys, here you receive by the product data and have 27 items in this array. So I'm able to pass a 27 item from the app to the display. Now, how are we going to display this data? How are we going to print this data on the screen? Then let's have a look for that. So first of all, I'm going to, in the return part of this, I'll make one div whose class name is main. And guys, where is this all class return? This is inside your CSS, guys. If you go here, na, here your class called main card. In the card, we have image. Okay. So I say card main. Now here I'm gonna call one method, say render product. Any name I can give this method, guys. I give method name as render product. Now what this render product do? We'll write const render product. Now there's some difference you have to notice. When I write method inside the class, I have not used any keyword like let const or something. I just set a method name. First thing. Second thing is that when I access it, I write this dot handle change. But when I access in a functional, I just directly call like this. So in the functions, we don't use this class keyword, guys. Okay. In the function, it just go like this. We call a method called render product. Here in the render product, I'll write props dot. Okay. Guys, I like to teach one concept here. There are two concepts in a JavaScript called as a map and filter. What's the use of a map? Guys, map help to iterate over the data. Let me just go to the JavaScript class. Let me pick some example. Map. Okay, how many of you guys raise hand? How many of you know what is map? What is filter? Raise hand. How many of you know what is map? What is filter? Okay. First of all, those who know map and filter, guys, I'll explain the concept in a minute. I'll ask you one question. Okay. Those who know map and filter, let me ask one question from you guys. Those who already know. I write where a is equal to 10. I write a is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. I write a dot filter and data is equal to return data multiply by 2. Ping me in chat, guys, quickly. What do you think is the answer for this? I have 0, 1, 2, 3. I write return data multiply by 2. What do you think is the answer for this? 0, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Ping me in chat. Ping me in chat if you know the answer. Not to raise hand. Ping me in chat if you know the answer. As simple as that. 0, 2, 4, 6. 0, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Maximum people say 0, 2, 4, 6. It's empty array. Okay. Wow. Okay, nice. Okay, let's leave this concept here. I'll come to this answer in a minute. I'll just tell answer for this question. Only 2 people are correct. Answer is 1, 2, 3. Why this is so? We'll talk about that later on. Okay. Just want to check that how many people are actually know the map and filter, or they just know it, or they actually know the concept of that. Okay, I got the answer. Okay, so guys, let's understand, guys, a concept called map and filter. What's the use of a map? Guys, map help to iterate. I can just copy these things for you if you want to refer it. Although in a JavaScript class, guys, we go in detail and talk about each topic like this way: objects, filters, storages, array, loop, condition, all these things in detail we teach in the JavaScript classes basically. Okay. So here, guys, we'll talk about map. Map is used to iterate over the array. It always returns the same length of output as input array, and it used to apply the logics. What it mean? Okay, guys, they are the array function first of all. Okay, so here, guys, I have one array of this number. I want that each number should multiply by 2. I write like this way: a dot map data arrow curly bracket return data multiply by 2. Now what it do, guys? In return, if I run this piece of a code, it return me all numbers got multiplied by 2. What the map do, guys? Map is to apply the logic. First of all, it only work with array. It pick each number and multiplied by 2. It always return the same length of input and output. See, if the input length is 10, then output length will always be a 10 like this. Whereas filter, to filter out the data, and it may or may not return the same length, filter only return those values for which condition or output is true. Next requirement: I want to get all the number which are greater than 30. I'll write a filter, a dot filter, and my condition is data greater than 30. Okay, have a try. I got those values for which condition is true. Now, 4 greater than 30? No. 7 greater than 30? No. 34 greater than 30? Yes. It give me only those values for which condition is true. If a same operation I try with map, suppose. What it did? It applied the logic. Map applied the logic and give me the output. And input and output line the same. 4 greater than 30? False. 7? False. False. True. True. False. True. False. True. False. False. True. True. It give me the output. If you want to apply the logic, if you want to play some logic, you have to use a map. But if you want a certain data with specific condition, you have to use filter. Now, in this case, why it returns 0, 1, 2? Maximum people say, sir, it is not a condition. Filter require a condition, but it's a condition. 0 multiplied by 2, 0, and 0 is false. It will not return that. 1 multiplied by 2 is basically 2, and 2 is true. It returns that. For whatever value the condition is true, it will return that. It don't apply the logic. But if I write a map here, map will apply the logic. The output will be 0, 2, 4, 6. Map apply the logic. Filter will filter out the value, guys. And one more concept I want to cover before jumping next topic. But in this concept, anyone not clear, raise hand. Guys, whenever you study something now, study in such a way that tomorrow you have to teach that. When you start learning in such a manner now, that tomorrow you have to teach that. And a student can ask anything, like you can ask any question from me. I have answer for that. Unless or until it's a compiler thing. Again, 10 plus 20 is 30, why it's 30? I don't have answer for that. Nobody in the world have answer for that. Okay, so it's just like that. So the point here in terms of that, if it's a logical question, you must have answer for that. If you answer for that, then ultimately your learning is a correct way. Okay, one more concept, guys, I like to cover. Guys, this concept I require for our own code. That's what I'm teaching you. There's one concept called index of in the JavaScript, in the array, basically. Index of, how it works. If it's city dot index of, suppose I say Innsbruck, it's a -1. Whereas if I say city dot index of Stockholm, it's a -1. Whereas if I say city or index of Delhi, it give me 0, and index of Venice, it give me 3. What it mean? Index of is a function inside the JavaScript. What it do? If the value is the part of the array, if that value is the part of that array, you will get the index number. If that value is not the part of the array, you will get -1. If that value is the part of the array, you will get the index number. If that value is not the part of the array, you will get. So Innsbruck and Stockholm is not a part of this array. It gives -1. Delhi and Venice is a part of the array. You get the index number. Clear, guys? Perfect. Okay. Now let's come to the concept. Here, guys, we'll go back to product display. Now I write here props dot property name is prod data. It's an array dot map. In this map, I'll add item data ABC is a parameter, guys, can be a name array. And what I return, guys, this map will return. As of now, just to learn, I write one h1 tag and say item dot what. Go back to data. Here I can pick name. Item dot name, because I can see in the data now I have a name, brand, discount, anything I can print. So I print item dot name. And when you go back to browser, you will get name of all the products. See? Name of all the products. Because we are iterating over it, but just to make it look good, what I'll do is I'll put a div whose class name is card. Then the img, which have src, item dot image is coming in the name of image. So item dot image must give the alt to the image, else it will show the warning. Item dot name, not a warning in a console, but a code will compile now, it shows the warning that alt is missing. And then in the next div below, in one h3 tag, I write one name. If you check also now, start getting it coming. In the p tag, I'll put item dot what description, then cost, and then use. Is item dot cost, and one more thing, item dot uses. See, guys, go back to browser, you got it. See, guys, real time iterated. The best part is tomorrow, if you have a new product, you will not touch a front end, you will not touch a back end. In the real time, you go in a database and add a new product. As example, guys, I add one new product here. Okay, and the product number is 28. I'll not touch anything, guys. In the output, you get a new product. If I print one more time, same product, start coming there. So the two things have to be taken care. This is called dynamic. And tomorrow, if I remove the product, they will be removed. Two things here are doing well job for us. One, the React, the display part, because it's iterating over the data. Second, the CSS is written in such a manner that ultimately, if you have 10 more product added, it will not break the page. So this is, guys, how exactly I'm able to display all the content on the screen in a proper dynamic manner. Although search will not work right now, we have to learn how to make a search work, but this is the first thing. And you can, if you want to improve a CSS, you want to make it more look good, up to you. That's your call. How much practice you want to do, how much experiment you want to do, it's your choice. Anyone, any question, any doubt in this iteration? No. Okay, I start getting a vibes. Now for at least for 20% people, things are now start going over the head. Isn't it? For a few people now, the things are now start already going over the head. No worries, guys. If you're not understanding it, absolutely fine. Just try your best. Go back, check the recording. Not clear, ask me tomorrow. I'm here to help you out. Yes, Jody.
Yes, so the map is like, so using the map is kind of like a for loop?
Yes. Map is like
Okay.
for loop.
Okay.
Rajan.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So regarding accessing the product data, last example, we were directly accessing the attribute like property dot something, directly access it. Here, property dot prod data dot.
So they're also doing the same thing only. What's the property name? What is the property name here? In the for a footer, what's the property name? Rajan, what's the property name for a footer, buddy? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, property name is okay. For the footer, it's a year. Here, it's a product data. Yeah, I got it. We are passing the whole object as the property here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I got it now. Yeah.
Any more questions, guys? Anyone? Okay. Next step, guys. A little complex one. Next concept we're covering. Guys, I'm telling you this application. Oh, one thing is missed. Okay, first I'll cover that. I'll tell you one thing. This application look very small, but it's a very feature rich. A lot of concept, state, props, class, functions, CSS, updating a state, passing a data from parent to child to parent, rendering, data binding. Almost 40 to 50% of React concept are these. These are 50% of React concepts. Although we're going to expand it, but ultimately these are 50% of a React concepts, guys. It's very, very, very important that you should be very clear with this application. I recommend everyone. I know a lot of you must have planned for tomorrow, right? It's fine. But ultimately, over this week, coming week, and this coming week don't have a class because of a new year. I request everyone to write this app. See, I'll take a way of learning. And again, those who mentioned that I talk a lot, I have to do that because that's my job. So the way to learn, guys can do very simple. How I learn, if I have to learn the subject, how I learn. If I have 2 laptops, it's very good. If I have 1 laptop, then and I have 1 phone with me, I'll do one thing. I'll start the video in the phone. Okay. I'll not copy paste this code. I'm going to start the video in the phone or tablet, whatever I have, or any other laptop, whatever I have. And start writing a code by watching that video. That's how I learn, guys. I watch the video and write the code and try to make it running rather than having a ready-made code and reading this code doesn't teach you the coding. Watch the video while watching the video and not like that. Okay, you completed the video. Now you start writing a code. No. Run the video parallelly in the phone, tablet, laptop, in the other laptop or desktop, start writing that code. And try to do it by yourself more and more and more. The time you stuck, now looking, then no way out. Then go back in the GitHub and check the correct code, but do not copy paste the code. If you're copy pasting a code or just reading this code, no use, guys. This should be the way. Watch a video, write a code. Watch a video, write parallelly. Watch it, pause it, write it, pause it, write it, pause it, write it. This should be the way to actually learning. And that's how I have learned the things, guys. Rest, obviously, you guys have your own ways also, but this is the best way. Or the other way, if you don't have a time to write a code parallelly, then the second thing I always do is while watching the video, I start taking a screenshot on my phone. Okay, I start taking screenshots of my phone, and then all screenshots, by watching those screenshots, I write a code by myself. By watching that code only. I'm not saying just remove the code and write by yourself. You cannot do that. Watch it and write it, because your hands start moving on that flow of the code. If you practice this, you're gonna actually get a lot of benefit, guys. I can commit you. I mean, I cannot. I just said this is a way I tried and tested, which is a very good way. Okay. Now, guys, one more thing here. If I just right click and inspect now, I'll tell you one thing. Here we have one more warning there. Okay. And guys, I'll tell you, for complaining, there are a lot of things to complain. You can complain for anything you want, but those who are here to learn, they will learn. It's as simple as that. Here, guys, if you notice, it's each child in the list must have one key called props. What the React want? React want what you are iterating, what you are repeating. Just mention that to React with the help of key. Here we have to give a key, and key is a unique value. And what's the use of that? I'll tell you also. In the key right here, item.id. Why? Because the ID is a unique for each product. Now that warning goes away. Let's see. Just do it. Then no longer any warning. Guys, what exactly did the key? I'll tell you. Basically, do a comparison. How it work in React. Suppose, guys, I have in a previous list, I have the 5 elements. You have key number 1, key number 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, in the previous one is a 4, here it's a 5. Now, when the 5th element will come, what the React do? React will compare those key. It find 1, 2, 3, 4 is there, up to 4 is there. 5th is new, so it copy and paste it here. So it compare the old with the new structure, and this is called virtual DOM. It make a temporary structure and compare the actual structure with the virtual structure. It compare what is new, it only replaces that. That's why if you don't give that, then React have to read all the data. It becomes slow. Application will become slow. To improve the performance of application, you should always give a key, and to the key, always give a unique value. It's easy for React to compare. So we give a key, and with the help of key, one thing, warning gone, and the application performance will start improving. Okay. The main thing here, guys, I want to teach you is very important and little complex concept. Passing the data from child to parent. Okay, I'll write it down here. For parent to child, we use simple props. From child to parent, we use props with function. From parent to child, we basically use props. And from child to parent, we use props with function. How it works? Let's have a look. Guys, parent to child is simply seen that we are passing a props. Now, to pass from child to parent, what I want to pass? In the parent, basically, I will going to write one function called filter data. Any name you can give to that. I'll give a name as filter data. Okay. I have a logic to filter, but I want what you are typing. On the basis of that, I will filter, guys. What you are typing, I need that words. I'll define one state variable here called filtered data. Okay. Filtered data. This will initial value is same, because obviously, guys, if I'm not typing anything, you have to show me everything. So initial value is same, just only. And now I'll pass this filtered data to the next stage. So what I want what user is typing. I want in the app. Header is a child. From a child, I want the parent in the parent. So in the parent, write function. In the child, call that function. It's just like that. I have one function called add. Function called add. So we take parameter a comma b, return a plus b, and call it add 1 comma 2. From here, I'm gonna call this. Calling should happen inside the child, and this function should be created inside the parent. Parent में function call करना है और child में function. So in a parent you declare the function, in a child you have to call the function. How? Let's see. Is a function with props only. How? Here, guys, in basically, if I talk about your app, here we define property. My property name is user input. It can be any property name. My property name is user input, which is a property, but this property will have one function inside this like this. This property is with function. Here I'll say data, and I'll say console.log inside app data. So data inside app, we have data. So here we write a function, guys. Okay. We'll say props with function. Here we have this function property, which is having a function. Now, how are you gonna call this property? Go back to the header. Here you call it. Here's a calling props of app. Write like this. This dot props dot prop name user input. From here you are calling and passing this data. Okay. From here you are calling and passing this data, and inside the app you are receiving this data. From here you are calling this property. Okay. And basically you are passing this data here. So here you are calling this function. Here the calling the function, and here we declare the function. So in the parent, we declare the function. In the child, we'll call the function. In a parent, I have declared this function. In a child, I'll call this function. And if I just for the see it's coming or not coming, if I start typing something, see inside app, you see inside app, I am receiving this data. Anyone, any question till this point, guys? First of all, I'll do 1 or 2 more concepts, guys, and we'll stop after that. I think that will be sufficient. Anyone, any question? Okay. Now, once we receive that in the child, okay, from a child, we are receiving that in a parent. And guys, everything require a practice. Now I'll pass this data to this function. Run a console.log. All right. This dot filter data to this pass this data. And here we receive it. Now here I write a logic. I'll say let output equal to, and whatever the output will come, I'll update that in a state. I'll say this dot set state of what? Of filter data to keyword. Now, guys, rather than going to database and calling the API, writing a like query, percentage queries, I simply already data is with me. Already I have a data. Now I'm just filtering this data. In the output, I write like this way. This dot state dot product data. Okay. If we compare with the concept of the JavaScript, right? A dot filter. What is A? A is the array for us. This dot state dot product is an array. Dot filter. Dot filter. Now their logic is data greater than 30. My logic is on which basis you want to filter, on the basis of a name or your cost or discount. I want to filter on the basis of name. So I'll say data dot name dot index of whatever user will type should be greater than -1. I'm saying that return all those data. Suppose I type A. If A is present in the name, give me all those products which have A in their name. Which have A in their name. Okay, let's try. Suppose guys, I write here mask, M-A-S-K. It give me all those products where mask is in their name. Suppose I write now thermometer, T. It give me all the products which have a T. If I say T-H-E-R-M-O, so all of them have the thermometer in their name. Suppose I write D-E-T, Dettol. But if I write small M-A-S-K, it doesn't work. Only one, because in this only small mask is there. If I'm writing M-A-S-K, it's working, but I'm writing M-A-S-K, it's not working. Why? Because JavaScript is case sensitive. How to handle that? I'll tell you. But first of all, again repeating, in a data, I give a name. Over the name, I will not type anything, any word. I'll check if that word exists there, it will return, else it will not return. First of all, guys, till this point, your questions, and then I'll tell you how to overcome this problem. Any doubt till this point, guys? Okay. Then how to overcome? Just convert into one case and two lower case. Basically, either convert while comparing also and while checking also, either convert into one case. I convert both of them into lower case. Now you write M-A-S-K, capital also, all small also, one capital, one small, like this also, it will work. Why? Because while comparing it, it is comparing, always convert into lower case and then comparing. So it's never gonna go wrong. Vaporizer. So guys, it's working. So that's how we are done with our first application. Anyone, any question, any doubt? Raise hand, guys. How many of you are okay to start our second application today? How many feel okay to start a second application today? Only 5. Okay. Anyways, I'll teach another 10 or 20 minutes, 10-15 minutes more I'll teach. Okay, and then we'll stop. Basically, guys are covering a concept of routing because maximum people don't want, but anyways, we'll cover for 10-15 minutes. Okay. As you like at 11, we'll cover, then we'll stop. Here we are going to talk about routing, because here we have only one page. But the requirement is obviously home page, about page, contact, multiple pages we need to have in application. Now to get that done, a multiple page in one application. So basically we require a routing. And for the routing, guys, basically in the React, there are two versions of routing. One is very latest, like around 3 or 4 months back. The latest version came in the routing, guys. Okay. So again, as I mentioned, guys, if something new came, as example, like I suppose you have one car. Okay. Now, suppose you're using one car from past 3-4 years. After 4 years, the car launched their new version, say facelift version. They make some new dynamics or they change some colors, features and launch a new. It doesn't mean that you will directly jump and buy the new version of that car. You'll not do that. You'll first check your budget. You will see, do you have budget to buy a new car? Is your old car is working fine? Are you facing any problem there? No. Then why you jump to a new car? If you have good budget, you will jump to a new car. Right? It's just like that. If the new version of anything came into picture, doesn't mean, guys, the company will directly jump and start using a new version. They first check, do they have a resources? Does it really required? Do they have a time? Do they have any specific thing to do? Suppose business have given them a lot of new feature to develop and business is paying them. First, they will do the work of business rather than upgrading themselves. I'll talk about in my my freelancing project right now what's going on. We are using a Node version 16. Okay, Node version 16. But now they said that you have a Node version 18 available. My manager told me that we have to jump to Node version 18 in the next year. But that doesn't mean that in my team I'll say, okay, stop doing all the work. First jump to 18. It's working is going on. First, I will see what are impact there. I have to see how much changes I require, how much code I require, how much effort I require. Then I decide. So guys, we have to always learn the thing which is going from along, and we should be aware of new things. So I'm going to cover both 5 and 6. But just to tell you, 5 is a 90% cases, guys. People are using a 5. If anybody developing a new projects, they are using a 6. But 90% things are on a 5 only. So we should know both of them. How are we going to install the particular version of package right like this way, guys? npm I react router DOM. If I try this way, react router DOM, guys, it always install the latest version. This is a package responsible for routing, but I want a specific version. I'll say @5.3.0. This is the version I want. Without this version, guys, it will install the latest for you always. We'll go with the latest also, but first we'll use this old one. It doesn't mean it's very old, it's just a 4 or 5 months old. You can say like this. Okay. Second thing which I want to make for tomorrow thing is guys, in this second application, I'm gonna take a help of a CSS through Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a one library to do the responsive designing. Okay. Bootstrap is a library to make the thing responsive and to make the things look good. To use a Bootstrap, I'm going to have the link of the Bootstrap, which I'm going to add in our project. Where? In the public.html. When I add this link, now this Bootstrap library is a CSS library, nothing more than that, guys. Is a CSS library. Okay. To use that, I included that in my project that I can start using the CSS. First step. Second thing, as usual, I'll delete this src folder. Okay. I delete this src folder. I'm going to make a new src folder because I want to start from scratch. There I'll make a one component folder. Here I'll make a one index.js. I'm making files only, guys. Tomorrow we'll write a code inside that index.js. In the component folder, I'm gonna have multiple components. One header.js, one footer.js, one home.js, one post.js, post page, profile page like that, post.js, profile.js, post detail.js. You have a listing page and then the detail page. Okay. Then in each of them, I'll make them a simple function component, guys. Import React from React. We don't need any state and data interaction right now, so we'll make a function component. Const is equal to bracket, arrow, curly bracket, return one h1 footer and export default footer. What I'm doing is I'm just making the empty components so that tomorrow our work will be a little easy. Our structure is ready. Header, header, header. I've installed the package and I'm just making these empty components. Home, page, post page. One way, guys, that you put all the thing inside index and start all of them coming one under other, which I don't want. Post details. Post details, and last one, profile. And tomorrow, guys, if I get some time now, I'll teach you how to make your GitHub profile look like as a front page of my profile. Okay. So what I did, guys, I installed one package called React Router DOM. I make some components like header, footer, index, and post profile. And index file is right now empty. I make them as an empty component so that it's ready to use for the next project from tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Let's just change a gear for 5 minutes. Till this point, guys, any question? Coding we'll do tomorrow, guys. First, initial devices. Just change a gear. I want to show you one thing, how to make a GitHub profile look like this. Just for the sake of, let's change the gear because ultimately it's too much coding for a day. Any question, guys, till this point? Okay. Yes, Venkat.
Hi. Do we have this layout page in React?
Layout page in React means?
I mean, generally in .NET, we will have a layout as header and the footer, right? And we will render all the views in between the header and footer itself.
You can make any
But-
page as layout page, buddy. Here
I'm
you can
sorry?
call app as a layout page. There's no any keyword available there, but you can make any you can call any page a layout page. In this scenario, you can call your app as a layout page. On the top, you have a header, between you have a content, bottom you have footer. Later on, when the routing will come, so all content will start loading here. You can call this a layout page also.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Now, guys, what I'm teaching you right now is a little different than the code. So I'm teaching you one more thing, the last thing for a day, and then we're done. Then if those who have doubt, they can ask. How to make a GitHub profile should look something like this. Okay, how you can, guys, make your GitHub profile should look something like this. It's quite simple, guys. If you don't have a GitHub account, create that first. Second thing, first of all, let me get this README file as a raw file for you guys. One second. Let me generate this URL for you. This URL I'll put in the extra file, or I'll make on file say GitHub, because anyway, the guys I have to teach you GitHub also, how to push pull the code in GitHub. That's a part of our course. I have to teach you. Now, guys, I have given this raw link. Okay. When you go to this raw link, you have some content to copy. From this link, you have some content to copy. This is my content. Obviously, guys, you can make your own content and create that. So what we'll do, guys, first of all, sorry, you have to make one repository by the same name as the profile name. So this is my profile name is Akash Developer. You also have to make one repository by same name called Akash Developer. How? You click on this plus icon, guys. Okay. Click on new repository. In this new repository, put that repository name. Guys, repository name and the profile name should be exactly same. Uppercase, lowercase, everything should match. I already have one by the same name. I already have one by same name. I just put a 1. Do not put 1. Give a same name as the your profile name. Whatever the name of the profile, create the repository name also same. Then you will find an option called add readme file. You see this add readme file? Click on that and click on create. Once you do that, guys, this readme file and your profile will generate. Now, click on this edit button. The raw file which I have given, copy all the content of this raw file. And basically paste it here. After that, click on commit. After that, click on commit. Once you click on commit, the things start coming for you also. Now, what you can do, once you go to your profile, you will see something like this. You can click on edit again. Here you can give your YouTube, if you have YouTube channel link, give the link of your YouTube channel or your basically a LinkedIn link or the website link or whatever links you have, you can edit there. And now this is my description, guys. First of all, wherever you find, first search Akash Developer. Wherever you find my name, replace that with your profile name, first of all. Okay, and rest all content is basically mine. You want to change it, you can change according to your profile. So create a repository, click on edit, paste the content which I've given to you and commit, and change according to you and commit. When you commit, you will see that there. Now 1 minute. Let me delete this repository which I just created because I'm not required. I'll delete it. You can delete it, go to setting. At the very last, you find delete the repository, give the repo name. It might ask you password also. And then repository deleted. So guys, everyone should make your GitHub repo look something like this. And last thing for a day, let me push this whole code for you guys. And guys, I'm requesting you, everyone, please practice each and everything which I'm teaching you. It's super important. And guys, now open the platform for people. If they have any question, doubt, they can ask. Else, guys, we'll connect tomorrow for our next topic. Next topic tomorrow, we'll cover both routing 5, routing 6. If we get time, we can start. I can walk you through the API which we require for third application as well. Okay. Today we done a concept called state props, major concepts. And push. Cool, guys. So code is push, and that's how we're done. Now, those who have a doubt, they can stay and ask. If you don't have a doubt, you want to leave, you can, and I'll see you. And again, if anybody has a suggestion for me, again, you can stay back and give me suggestion if anybody have also. Okay. So I'll start with Jody. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Akash. So when we're making our GitHub, so we're making a repository with our name as well, so that we have a repository. So I'm the owner, and then an owner, and then a repository in my name as well.
Yeah, you should have. That's why that's what one of the requirement I've mentioned in the extra file. Do you see here on the line number 3 of the extra file? It's a create GitHub account.
Yeah, so I'm doing it right now. I was just a little confused. I have the GitHub. Okay.
If you already have an existing GitHub account, that's fine. If you don't have, then create one.
Okay. All right, I got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Srilata.
Yeah, can you please go to first app.js?
Which file?
App.js in component, yeah. So at the top, here also through constructor and super, we are passing props, right? Is it required if at all we have to use the data in the...
I said that you pass it or not pass it. Even though you don't pass it, you can still receive it. This is not props.
Okay, okay. It is not mandatory.
It's not mandatory.
Okay. In the parent component, it should be as a state, and while receiving in the child component, it should be as a props.
No, you can pass from here. You can pass as a state. In next component, to see as a property and assign back to state. Up to you. Anything is fine.
Okay, there also we can receive as state. Is it, Akash?
You want to receive in a prop, but as a property, you can update a state. So whatever property you will receive, you can set the property again back to state. That you can do.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Neha.
Yeah, hi Akash.
Yeah.
So I just want to ensure, I mean, how we are ensuring like the state is getting updated properly, because maybe there's a
Use output
it's
on
a sync or synchronous, I mean, getting updated.
Sorry.
The set state is a synchronous operation, or I mean,
what is a synchronous operation, ma'am?
No, my question is like the data we
my
are
question to you
passing.
back is, what is sync and async?
Sorry.
My question back is, what is sync and async?
Sync means that block the thread and it will perform there only. Async means we have to wait for something. I mean, I'm not sure.
Ma'am, sync async, things work when you're calling any functions, calling any APIs. There the word. See, actually using the wrong word now will actually make trouble in the interviews. As example, you ask me, sir, sync async in the state, right? Now in the interview, that interview will start asking you same question which I asked. What is sync async? Now you got stuck and not able to answer and you get rejected. So ma'am, we have to choose the right words. Here ultimately nothing called sync async. And your question was how we make sure that state is getting updated or not. You see the output there. When I'm typing, I can see it below, which indicate state is updating properly. If the output is not coming there, then automatically state is not updating. Does that make sense?
Not really. I will find some links and get back to you on this. Thank you.
Now it's very simple. When I'm type A, B, C, D, I see the output on the print. If its print is coming properly, it means state is getting updated. So what is not clear in this, Nia? There's nothing to go back and read anything apart from this.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's it. Thank you.
Any more question, guys? Anyone else? Are we good? Okay.
Hey Akash, this is Gagan.
Yeah, go ahead.
So generally when we create a project using React, what are the recommendations in case we have to do some kind of login?
Some kind of login means?
Like if we have to see like what all actions user has performed, we can definitely go into the Chrome and development environment, and then we can see the messages, but we have to then follow each and every step that the user has followed, right? Generally, other applications always generate a log. And since example means suppose there is a Java application where somebody was trying something and there was an error that occurred. And we can always generate a log file from a Java application, and we can tell the user that if you have issues.
Wait. When you talk about Java, Java generate the log. You use a middleware to generate the log inside a Java, or Java have a by default functionality.
You can always open a file and then you can try to dump your log messages into that, right?
You write that code for that, right? Because that's a backend. In a backend, the logs can be generated, sir. In a Node.js, I want to see that what all URLs got hit, I can do that. But in a front end, these logs are not generated directly, sir. You have to put a logging mechanism, import any library called Winston or the Husky, those kind of libraries you have to use, and whatever data you want to print, you have to run logs for that. By default, it doesn't generate any file for a log, because the reason for that is because these applications run on a browser, not on a server. Because the logs which you are talking about Java is a server log, not a Java log. Java server logs. Right? Any request got failed. You get a 404, 403, the log from a server. And these applications does not run on a server. That's why they don't have a direct logs.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Say, Shilata.
Yeah. Angular application, we can debug it through developer tools, right? In the Chrome.
We can do the debugging through Java React also. Put a
yeah. How do we?
I'll teach you on further. Just put a how you debug the Angular application.
We press F12 or inspect element, and then we can check, put a breakpoint in the .ts file.
Not an inspect. You do go to the source. You go to source. In a source, you have files. You in a source open one thing called Webpack. In a Webpack, the files are there. Similarly, also I'm same thing here. You right click, go to source. On the left hand side, you all the files. Click a file, put the breakpoint, and just refresh it. Same, no change.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Akash.
Yes, Jody.
Yeah, so I have with the module before module, the code that's there, when I run it with the npm start, I get an error about Express, cannot find module Express. So do I have to install Express in order to run it?
Yes, but why? Which code you're running?
The code in the module, there's a download code in module 2. There's like 4 different codes to download and run. Example code. So that's what I was doing.
Are you using an LMS? I don't want
yes, the LMS. Yes. So if you go to course content and you go to module 2, and if you go down to keep scrolling, so it's the code, like the code, multiple components. So I was looking at that, trying to run those
But why
And that's
triple
the
R?
arrow is getting.
You can ignore that, ma'am. First now you go to GitHub. The code we are writing is
Okay.
on a GitHub. But yes, if you're getting that error, then obviously you have to write a npm I first and then npm start. That answer to your first question. Second question is the code that we are creating is this place on this GitHub.
Okay.
I can give a link to you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Let's add a link. You can click on here and download zip. All the thing will download. I'm not sure what this code is exactly. It's there in that module. I have not seen that, ma'am. Might be that's if they're asking you to do that, then obviously first write npm I and then npm start. Just npm I, it automatically install all the package what it require, and npm start, you can start running it.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else, guys? I can help anyone? No? Are we good? Perfect. Cool, guys. Then I'll see you tomorrow, same time for our next topic, routing. Thank you. Bye-bye and take care.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhat. Pratibha, sorry.
Hello, sir. So
Yeah.
actually, I just tried to understand that filter function that you explained, but I couldn't understand that.
Ma'am, the filter
I
function
think
is
it's very basic thing,
basically,
but still I couldn't get
I'm
it
just writing
actually.
that this dot state dot product data. This is a whole data.
Can you
In
please
this data,
explain
I'm
with a
taking a
smaller
name.
example first? Because I couldn't
I already
understand
did
how
that,
it
ma'am.
is returning 1, 2,
Ma'am,
3 in that case.
I already did that here as well. The small
Yeah,
example.
here at line number 242, where it is comparing with when return is data multiplied by 2. So
Ma'am,
from
read
0,
this
1, 2,
line
3,
first.
4,
Read this line loudly. Line number
filter would
231.
return those data for which output or condition is true. Okay.
Now, 0 multiplied by 2 will be
0. So it's not a like true value. It's a
false
0
value.
multiplied. Yeah, it's a false value.
So it does not return that because it say it only return those value for which output or condition is true. 0 is false.
What is the mean of over here data multiplied by 2? If
Ma'am,
it
what
is
is data
returning
you
from
can
the A
replace?
only. So if it is returning 1, 2, 3 from A itself, then what's the use of data multiplied by 2 over here?
What is this data means?
No, not this data. At the right side, return data
What is
multiplied
this
by
data
2.
then? Okay, what is this data? Where is this data coming from?
It is coming from A only, like 0, 1, 2, 3 array we are talking about. And now when we are multiplying it with 2, so it should become like 0, 2, 4, 6. But we are not considering 0. So in that case, it should be 2, 4, 6.
The basic concept of filter. Filter is to filter out the value. Map is to apply the logic. I mean, it's also given 2, 4, 6, na? Then ultimately, then we do not need any dysfunction. This is sufficient for us. Okay? The use of filter is to return only those value for which condition or we do not apply the logic.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, fine. Yeah.
To apply the logic. Filter आपका logics को apply नहीं करता है. फिल्टर सिर्फ उन वैल्यूज को रिटर्न करता है जिसके लिए कंडीशन और आउटपुट ट्रू होती है. इसलिए वो उसको मल्टीप्लाई नहीं कर रहा. अगर वो मल्टीप्लाई करना होता तो मेरे पास मैप अवेलेबल था. मुझे फिल्टर की जरूरत ही नहीं थी.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. No, Kiran, we don't have class on 31st and 1st. Institute is closed, buddy.